Now, learning lessons in virtual classrooms. Online charter schools are on the rise around the country. Special correspondent John Tulenko of Learning Matters Television went to Pennsylvania, where the demand is high and where questions are being raised about the quality and cost of the instruction.
It's 8 a.m. at the Smiths' home in Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
Is everybody in your class today? There you go.
Time for 7-year-old Landon Smith to log into school.
Good morning. We will start with the question of the day, which I...
Very good. Excellent job, guys.
Down the hall, his brothers Cameron, age 10, and Austin, age 12, are also logged in.
9, 12, and 15.
The boys have gone to school this way for most of their lives.
What is it together?
They're among some 30,000 Pennsylvania students who go to school online full-time.
I think the main benefit is my influence on them is greater. And is that A, B, or C?
Alicia Smith works nights to be home during the day.
My day is structured that when they're in school, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing school. The older ones are a lot more independent. I'm their facilitator.
All right, so let's take a look at
The children's classes meet 5 mornings a week, led by virtual teachers.
I can see the teacher. They can be anywhere in the country. I've had teachers in Florida. I've had teachers in Pittsburgh.
How about this one right here? I have another.
What happens if you have a question?
We'll raise our hand, or they'll just call on you, and then you'll have a mic.
How do you raise your hand?
There will be a button to click it, and then the mic will pop up, and whatever you have to say, you'll say it.
Full-time public online schools are now an option in 30 states. Pennsylvania alone has 13. Nationally, these cyber schools, as they're called, serve some 250,000 students in kindergarten through grade 12, and that number is growing.
Are cyber schools a fringe movement or a better, revolutionary approach to public education? In Pennsylvania, we examined these schools closely to see what students are getting, how they're performing, and because this is taxpayer money, exactly where the dollars are going.
Like most cyber schools, the one the Smiths chose, called PA Cyber Charter, supplied them with all the equipment they needed free of charge.
Something that kids get in this country is how to power up into technology. They get that.
Nick Trombetta started PA Cyber 12 years ago. With 11,000 students from across Pennsylvania, it's among the largest public online schools in the country.
Cyber school is sort of a leveling. It is like the great equalizer in education. So for kids who are trapped in schools that don't have many choices or bad choices, cyber schools are necessary. No matter who you are, where you live, you're going to get the same quality of service.
I get 100% participation from my kids every single class. And I get it through either them doing a problem on the board, from them sending me a chat. I get 100% every single class. So then we're going to multiply both sides.
For PA Cyber teachers like Tom Ward, the classroom is this workspace, designed with the look and feel of an internet startup.
So let's break you guys into groups of 4.
Webcams allow for real-time teaching.
I'm going to eliminate the last row of problems.
And whatever teachers write or put on their screens can be seen by their students at home.
And with the click of a button, we can access a different website, a different video clip. We can have students doing different things at the same time.
I'm going to be popping through the groups, checking to see how everything's going.
There are new ways to keep tabs on students, too.
You guys are doing great in this group.
Like instant polling and private messaging.
They can send me an anonymous note. I don't understand number 7 at all. And we say, let's go over number 7 again. I'm getting several notes.
And you can't do that in a brick and mortar. A lot of kids have those poker faces that can fake you out. This puts that right live, right in your face, saying, I don't get it.
Today we're going to discuss past tense verbs.
But in practice, it can look and sound a little different.
Now, I believe we might have a video, if that's right, Mrs. Rangel.
That's right. I can start it for you. We measure things in inches.
It's the teachers.
I think one of the most common problems would be the technology. You can't get connected. Something goes down. Sorry about that.
About how many steps?
The Smiths say PA Cyber does its best to troubleshoot, but even that has limits.
Students that have satellite internet, if it's snowing, if it's rainy, if there's a cloud that goes through the sky, it's going to throw them off a little bit.
Something else threw off Austin Wall, one of many struggling students drawn to PA Cyber for a fresh start. Wall was never given live courses taught by virtual teachers.
I really didn't know who was in my class. It's just me, myself, and I, all alone, doing schoolwork. It's boring, extremely boring.
Cheaper to run, self-paced independent study courses like Wall's are the kind given to 60% of online students statewide.
So I had to do 6 hours a day, and I did like an hour every day, if that.
What'd you do instead?
Playing Call of Duty.
Video games? For how long?
All day, until my friends got home and went outside.
Did the school ever call up?
They called me 3 or 4 times in a week to do schoolwork, and I just never did it.
Did they ever send anyone out to your house?
No. Eventually they called me and was like, we're gonna kick you out, and then I came back here.
To prevent students from falling through cracks, PA Cyber employs 170 instructional supervisors, people whose job it is to call homes and make sure students are doing what they're supposed to be doing. In Austin's case, that wasn't enough.
Disappointing. Not what we want to be and what we want to represent, and I'd want to know who that person was, and we struggle not to be that kind of place, that kind of school.
Is this for newspaper or yearbook or both?
Wall lasted only 2 months at PA Cyber. That's not unusual. The school's turnover rate is around 25%. However, at Pennsylvania's other online schools, turnover rates typically exceed 50%.
And so we've had to remediate those students and get them back onto their grade level.
Rob Postapak and Ron Sofo are school superintendents in 2 small districts that neighbor PA Cyber's home base.
Okay, welcome. And
it was Sofo's district that took back Austin Wall.
When kids attend a cyber school, they attend if they turn the computer on for 1 minute. If a kid comes to my school and they show up for 1 minute and go out the door, they're truant. I don't get it.
They do have students that attend there, and that's a reasonable education that students strive in that environment. But if a student is not striving in that environment, should we not be notified since it's our tax dollars that are paying the bill?
Funding is another controversial issue. Every student who attends cyber school represents a financial loss to school districts.
We don't have the ability to reduce costs for those students. You lose a kindergartner, you lose a first grader, you lose a 5th grader, you lose a 9th grader. You can't close down a 5th grade classroom because 2 students left.
So how do you make that up?
We have cut programs, we have reduced staff, we have made larger classrooms.
But at PA Cyber, it's another story. The way the funding works, cyber schools bill school districts for each student they take, but they're allowed to charge different amounts based on what the districts themselves spend.
He's sending 11, I'm sending 8. Rich school districts are sending 14 or 16,000.
But PA Cyber spends less running its school.
The PA Cyber School profited in the past 2 years $20 million, a profit of $20 million.
Other online companies are also doing well and drawing scrutiny for executive pay packages worth up to $5 million.
So this is our virtual classroom building.
Last year, Nick Trombetta earned $163,000. However, since its founding in 2000, PA Cyber has collected a total of $45 million in profit. And the question is, what is PA Cyber doing with leftover money?
Well, we're investing it back into research and development. We're investing it back into our program. We're investing it to multiple centers across the state to serve more children. We're investing that back into PA Cyber.
Most of the money has been spent within a 12-block area of tiny Midland, PA, a former steel mill town where PA Cyber is based. Midland now boasts its own performing arts center, also designed to house the company's offices, for which PA Cyber paid $10 million. A few blocks away, $12 million more built the Virtual Teacher Center in what had been a steelworkers union hall. And close by, the money is also funding construction of new corporate headquarters, in addition to $5 million in other properties recently purchased in Midland. To critics, hiring more teachers and creating more live courses would have made better use of taxpayers' education dollars. But Trombetta defends his choice.
We do need buildings for our employees. I mean, it costs money to lease them. It costs money to build them. And the dollars that we do receive, we were able to squirrel away some dollars over the course of the years, and invest in that.
PA Cyber also spun off its own not-for-profit business, developing online curriculum to sell across the country. Together, the nonprofit and the school have grown to employ 694 people in what was a dying steel town.
We decided to create a new industry, and it was an industry to replace the old. And you're right, and it was to create opportunities for children across this Commonwealth and across the United States. This has been huge for this area.
The town's comeback even earned it a nickname, the Midland Miracle, though not everyone believes.
Wait a minute. I didn't know that public schools and the funding of public schools should be an economic development strategy for one small section of one county. I don't think that's the purpose of public education in this Commonwealth or in America.
The other thing is we may need another
Some people might say, all well and good that you're creating jobs, but doesn't the money belong to the kids?
It does belong to the kids. And it belongs to the kids. And as long as the children are receiving a quality service for that investment, and it is of the quality that gets them what they need, then we're happy to be able to provide that to them.
Tell me the thickness of this math book right here.
But here's the catch. Math and reading scores at PA Cyber are below the state average in regular schools, sometimes well below.
Okay, so we're going to go through what is
Most other online schools in the state do worse. But it's PA Cyber, the largest, that's had to respond to stepped-up criticism.
Don't go telling people that your state scores are better when I'm taking kids from you that weren't performing well, and now I've got to do the catch-up. That's not fair.
But school districts don't buy that.
At the end of the day, you're taking money away from districts that are doing a reasonably decent job to serve entities that have mixed results, and I think there's the rub.
I mean, I understand that they're angry. I understand that, financially this is a hit when you lose a kid. Win them back. Win them back. Don't complain about the school that won them from you. Win them back.
To win them back, one Pennsylvania district has started its own cyber school and is offering $1,000 towards computers and supplies to every student who transfers in from schools like PA Cyber.
And for more, 2 cyber students offer real-life tales about going to school online, plus educators weigh the costs and benefits. You'll find a link to those Learning Matters stories on our website.